With recent events coming to light, everyone has been asking, why is it so difficult to hold police officers accountable for their wrongdoings? Let's talk about it. Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brendan. If you're into commentary, true crime, and the very rare and occasional vlog, please hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and also give this video a like because it took a lot of research and a lot of work, and I would really appreciate the support. So what is qualified immunity? The legal definition of qualified immunity is that it protects government officials from liability for civil damages as long as their conduct does not violate clearly established statutory or constitutional rights of which a reasonable person would have known, and that it provides ample support to all but the plainly incompetent or those who knowingly violate the law. So let's break down this legalese and figure out what it really means and how it works in society today. In 2004, a woman named Malika was driving her son to school when she was pulled over for speeding. Malika believed that she was being wrongly accused of speeding and refused to sign the ticket police officers gave her, so they decided to arrest her. Police held her arm behind her back and tased her in 3 different parts of her body, at the time being well aware that she was pregnant. Malika later decided to sue her local police department for their excessive use of force in her traffic stop. When she took this to court, up to 6 federal court judges agreed that the use of force during her traffic stop was excessive and that her rights were violated per the Constitution. However, they dismissed this case because of a legal doctrine known as qualified immunity. In the Civil Rights Act of 1871, Congress gave citizens the right to sue public officials, including police officers who violated their constitutional rights. Whether it be a search done without a warrant, police brutality, or an unlawful arrest, citizens could hold public officials financially accountable for their wrongdoings. At first, the Supreme Court created the legal doctrine that is qualified immunity to protect public officials, especially police officers, who, even though they had violated someone's constitutional rights, they believed that they were acting in good faith. However, after the Harold v. Fitzgerald case, this doctrine was expanded to all public officials, including police officers, who violated someone's constitutional rights, even if it didn't seem like they were doing it in good faith. Now a victim must show that their rights were clearly established and violated by matching it to a previous case in which the court has decided that someone's rights were violated. If your case does not exactly match up to another case in which it was agreed that someone's rights were violated by a public official, your case will be dismissed and the officers involved will be granted 100% immunity from any accountability. So just to break it down as simply as I can, we're going to take it to a kindergarten level and say, let's say, hypothetically, Bob has a chocolate cookie, and a man who is a police officer comes and takes a bite out of that chocolate cookie. The police officer just stole the cookie, took a bite, and had no reason for doing so. Let's say Bob takes this case to court and wants to hold this officer who ate their chocolate chip cookie financially accountable for eating that cookie. And somehow, and let's just say somehow, the court agrees that that officer should be held accountable for eating that cookie, and so but then Bob is compensated for the cookie that he lost. And so then that case is closed, everything is good. So let's say I'm walking the streets one day and a female officer decides to take my oatmeal cookie and just takes a bite out of it and just takes it without my permission and for no good reason. And so I decide that since my cookie is gone and it's lost and I'm not getting it back, I am going to try and hold that female officer financially accountable for stealing that cookie. When I take my case to court, it doesn't exactly match up to Bob's case, so my case is going to get thrown out. 1, because I had an oatmeal cookie and not a chocolate chip cookie, and 2, a female officer took a bite of my cookie and not a male officer. That sounds very silly, but that is like the most kindergarten way that I can break it down to you. And also it really shows how down to the details and nitty-gritty and how hard it is to get a case like this to go through successfully and to hold an officer accountable for their wrongdoings. Literally, in order to have a successful case like this, the stars have to align. The stars have to align. That's how hard it is. At this point, officers know that they can get away with almost anything because there is this shield protecting them. They can arrest you for no reason, they can tase a pregnant woman 3 times for speeding, and they can just beat you, and there is next to nothing that you can do about it if that hasn't already happened to someone else and their case was successful. Officers have no incentive to do right by the American citizens besides their own personal morals, if that officer happens to have any. And so this is just one example of how just a small little loophole can really mess things up. And this legal doctrine, qualified immunity, is nothing more than a loophole to the Civil Rights Act. So let's just say it's just me and you. If I steal your stuff, if I destroy your things, you can sue me, you can take me to court and hold me accountable, and then I will have to pay for what I destroyed that was yours, and I will have to pay for violating your right. Why aren't we holding police officers to the same accord? In the Supreme Court's own words, qualified immunity protects all but the plainly incompetent or those who knowingly violate the law. But I just feel like, how can you be a police officer and be, one, plainly incompetent, and two, how can you be a police officer and knowingly violate the law when it's your job to enforce the law? My opinion is that qualified immunity has got to go. We need to get it out of here. We've seen video after video and heard horrifying story after story of police officers who literally just do what they want because they know that they can, because they know that at the end of the day, their wallets will be fine. At the end of the day, if they do something horrible, at the most, they will lose their job, the exact jobs that they're too scared to do the right way anyways. Let me get off my soapbox. And let me just say, I encourage anyone watching this video, I will have all of my sources down below. All of these sources were great, very informative. I encourage you to do your own research. And with that is all I have to say for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next week.